Jupiter is one of the most mysterious planets in our solar system. This gas giant is massive enough to alter our galaxy in strange and terrifying ways. It is also equipped with a massive red spot that hosts the most dangerous storm in our solar system. Jupiter is one of our favorites here at What If, and we love manipulating it in tons of strange ways. Today, we're going to do just that. We'll go through different scenarios where we alter, swap, and move Jupiter. Maybe we'll even take some features of the planet and bring them down to Earth. How could this destroy our solar system? How does this gas giant protect Earth? Well, let's start with our first scenario, one that brings us into a world where Mars and Jupiter switch places. The delicate balance of the entire solar system exists in a gravitational dance between planets. Swapping the orbits of two of them could wreak all kinds of havoc. What would happen to a rocky red planet stuck between two gas giants? How would Earth react to a gigantic new neighbor? And why would a big shift in gravity trigger an asteroid apocalypse? This is What If, and here's what would happen if Jupiter and Mars switched orbits. The Sun and Jupiter are the two largest objects in our solar system. The gravitational forces of these behemoths influence each other's movements and significantly impact the motion of all other planets, moons, and asteroids in our cosmic neighborhood. On the inner side of this belt is the fourth planet from the Sun, our neighbor, Mars. The red planet is located a mere 78 million kilometers from Earth, making it 8 times closer to us than Jupiter. Meanwhile, Jupiter, the fifth planet from the Sun, is about 778 million kilometers away. Its tremendous force of gravity could be responsible for maintaining the asteroid belt, which separates the inner and outer regions of the solar system. So, if these two planets suddenly swapped orbits, would the millions of rocky objects in the asteroid belt come flying right at us? Let's start by checking out how Mars would fare in this orbital switcheroo. It would now be jammed between the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn. This would put Mars in the uncomfortable position of having the two biggest planets in the solar system on either side of it. This situation would be problematic due to their massive gravitational pull. However, the pull would be uneven, and Mars would suffer a similar fate to one of Jupiter's moons, Io. Like Io, Mars would experience a stronger gravitational attraction on the side facing Jupiter than on the side facing away. This uneven pull would stretch and compress the rocky planet, causing it to heat up from the inside. That's the reason Io is plagued by more active volcanic eruptions than anywhere else in the solar system. Placing Mars in a similar gravitational tug-of-war could be strong enough to reactivate a few of its own ancient volcanoes. Yes, you could end up seeing lava erupting out of Olympus Mons, the biggest volcano in the solar system. Now, hopping back over to our side of the asteroid belt, things would be getting interesting here on Earth. The first big change you'd notice would be the night sky looking a little different. Jupiter would go from appearing as a distant bright star to being about 20% as large as the Moon. Looking up on a clear night, you could see its colorful bands and spots, but not everything would be swirly and pretty. In its new real estate right next door, Jupiter's gravitational impact on Earth would be about 64 times stronger than it is now. Jupiter already impacts us from a distance. Every 405,000 years, its pull, along with Venus's, is responsible for droughts and intense rain. With Jupiter being this close, the effect would be more extreme, and the consequences deadly. Caught between the Sun and Jupiter, our planet would experience cataclysmic tidal bulging. What was once a lovely, habitable home would transition into a volcanic hellscape. And that wouldn't be the only hell unleashed. With Jupiter suddenly on the opposite side of the asteroid belt, all those millions of rocks would be pulled in new directions, some of them heading straight toward Earth. The objects in the asteroid belt range in size. The dwarf planet series is about 25% the size of our Moon, while the asteroid Vesta is an unwieldy 530 kilometers across. But an asteroid wouldn't even need to be that large to hit Earth and trigger the apocalypse. A collision with one as small as 1 kilometer could be the end for us. If an asteroid about 10 kilometers across crashed into our planet, it would result in the sun being blocked out for a year or more. Without sunlight, we'd experience what's known as an impact winter. Temperatures would plummet and photosynthesis would stop. This would lead to the mass extinction of plant, animal, and human life. Thanks, Jupiter. Now, let's see what else this crazy planet has up its sleeve. Remember Jupiter's massive, terrifying Great Red Spot? What would happen if we took that storm and unleashed it on Earth? Jupiter is home to some of the biggest storms in our solar system, like the Great Red Spot, which has been swirling for centuries. Why don't we bring it to Earth and see what happens? How long would this megastorm rage? How would it blow the socks off every other storm our planet has ever seen? And why would you actually want to be at the center of it all? This is What If, and here's what would happen if Jupiter's storm existed on Earth. The Great Red Spot is the largest storm in our solar system and gives Jupiter its iconic red blemish. Spanning 16,000 kilometers across, this storm is nearly 1.5 times wider than Earth. It reaches towering heights of 500 kilometers into Jupiter's atmosphere. Scientists have been able to observe this storm for 200 years now, though it is likely much, much older than that. More recently, the Great Red Spot appears to be changing shape and shrinking. But whether it's getting smaller or not, how would this massive storm look on Earth? Would our entire planet be blanketed in a storm that would rage on forever? The Great Red Spot isn't the only storm on Jupiter. If we brought over all of the gas giant's storms, it would be devastating. Massive cyclones would appear at both the North and South Poles. These big, bad cyclones would be surrounded by several smaller cyclones. But don't let the word smaller fool you. On Jupiter, these storms have wind speeds reaching up to 350 kilometers per hour, stronger than any hurricane we've seen on Earth. The Great Red Spot alone would be more than Earth could handle. It's so tall that it would reach the International Space Station, over 400 kilometers above Earth's surface. In total, this massive storm would cover about 40% of the Earth's surface. And given what we already know about its persistence, it wouldn't be going away anytime soon. Scientists observe that, on Jupiter, the Great Red Spot hovers at the same latitude. It is likely held in place by two cloud bands in the planet's mostly hydrogen and helium atmosphere. If this happened on Earth, unlucky countries along that latitude, such as Brazil, Uganda, and Indonesia, would be plagued by this never-ending storm. But what if, instead of just relocating the Great Red Spot, we gave Earth Jupiter's entire atmosphere?